All the world that's owned by idle drones is ours and ours alone. We have laid the wide foundation, built it skyward stone by stone. It is ours not to slave in, but to cherish and to hold in peace for our children and their children. And our union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. The union makes us strong. There's a reason this has been the anthem of the labor movement for so many years. It's because it's so easy to write new verses to it. I wrote this one sitting here this afternoon. In Colombia, trade unionists are fighting for their lives, where the Coca-Cola funded paramilitary thrives. Listen up now, it's no joke. Please spread the word and boycott Coke, and Sprite, and Dasani, and Minute Maid. And our union makes us strong. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. For the union makes us strong.
I would like to share with you some thoughts concerning Iraq and its organized labor movement. The risks of Iraq descending into civil war are still real. Iraq is battling for its national unity, its sovereignty and integrity, and is fighting to consolidate its representative parliamentary polity and a way to create a federal Iraq where the people of Iraqi Kurdistan may enjoy a federal autonomy, peace and democracy. But in this, Iraqis are hindered by the legacy of 4 long decades of Saddam's fascist-type dictatorship, by the current onslaught of terrorists, and by the impact of the occupation and its disastrous policies. Heinous crimes are committed against the people of Iraq by religious fundamentalists, by extreme nationalists. Their scheme, quite simple, though brutal, is to push our country into sectarian civil war and thus destroy Iraq and any chance of building on the social and political progress Iraqis have gained since the fall of Saddam regime, limited though it is. The transitional phase of Iraq polity remains fragile and extremely dangerous and requires careful handling by Iraq's sovereign legislative body and its accountable executive. Any unwise move by one of these 2 mentioned agencies could plunge our country into unforeseen danger. Victory in this battle against these religious fundamentalists and extreme nationalists is fundamental for achieving a unified, democratic, federal Iraq of social justice and respect for human rights. Hence, Iraqi incumbent representative government must exert utmost efforts to consolidate national unity and achieve national reconciliation. It should, therefore, have to tackle urgently 5 concerns. They are significantly important for Iraq, a future political stability, and it is a pluralistic development. These concerns are intimately connected, and they are security, ending the presence of foreign military forces, and restoring Iraq's full national sovereignty by eliminating the consequences of the occupation, eradicating the long shadow of Saddam's fascist-type dictatorship, rebuilding Iraq's pulverized economy, reducing high employment, improving the quality of life for ordinary working people. We want to grow an economy, a prosperous economy. And of course, lastly, resolving Iraq's national identity. Security. The short history of our young federation, I shall look to these concerns from a trade union perspective, has been a bloody one. The IFTU, alongside the majority of Iraqis, has democratically and consciously, but critically, embraced the United Nations sanction political process under Resolution United Nations 1546. The alternative to that is outright civil war, carnage and the breakup of Iraq into statelet. Iraqis do not want this, nor do we, the trade union movement. The international labor movement has risen with one voice to condemn the killing of Iraqi trade unionists and to extend the hand of solidarity to our federation. Please see the ICFTU survey of June this year. Put Iraq in para of the assassination of trade unions in Iraq with another neighboring countries. The IWF has repeatedly argued that security situation must be tackled immediately, and thus states that political and economic measures must go hand in hand with military measures, resulting only to force will alone inflame and aggravate the situation further. The blatant violation of the U.S. military forces in Haditha, in Abu Ghraib and other places is a vivid example of this, and highlights the need to bring an end to the occupation now and remove foreign military presence from our country, Iraq. The IWF has called on the Iraqi government to develop its own armed forces that are based on national unity. These forces must be beholden to no political party or individual, but loyal only to Iraq's constitution, securing Iraq's internal integrity, protecting civilians, and maintaining law and order. But the biggest internal obstacle to build such security forces is the growth of sectarianism and sectarian conflict, fueled by some Iraqi political forces that are employing sectarian ethnic polarization and run their own militia as an alternative in order to seize power and thus secure commanding position within government. This was evident during the last general election December 2005. The security situation was further worsened by the openly advertised policies of their foreign occupiers, who resorted to an ethnic categorization of our society. It is disastrous policy that brought Iraqis further bloodshed and misery. The occupation must end now. Foreign military presence constitutes a violation of national sovereignty. The occupation must be brought to an end now through a clearly defined timetable for withdrawal of foreign forces, backed by the national consensus and endorsed by the United Nations. Our federation opposed the action of the transitional government of Al-Ja'far in 2005, who acted without the support of the Iraqi parliament when called on the United Nations to renew the mandate of the occupation forces in Iraq. To achieve this end, the IWF supports and welcome the reconvene of National Accord Conference this August coming in Baghdad, endorsed and supported by the Arab League and by the United Nations. The conference seeks to bring different Iraqi political and social forces to share common aim of one united federal and democratic Iraq. The conference will forge a compromise between different Iraqi communities, which is essential for the restoration of Iraq's national sovereignty and thus key means to end the occupation. The IWF has called on the government to work for the removal of foreign forces by creating the material, the political situation, or the political and security fundamentals to end the occupation now and eradicate Saddam's legacy. Iraq's economy must be diversified, as over 90% of Iraqi income derives from oil. This must be changed, as oil will not last forever. Without a growing economy of social justice, democracy will not take root in Iraq. When the collective social provision and the public service ethic is entirely squeezed by the dictate of a regulated market, democracy itself will wither on the vine. Trade unions are democracy egalitarian insurance policy against the self-defeating triumph of egoism, the market. Unions are the embodiment of powerful ideas, the equality and freedom advances best when they advance together. Trade unions are playing a major role in bringing Iraqis of different ethnicities, religions, sects, and political and ideological affiliation to the same table to share dreams of a better life for our children, dignity at work, a fair share of prosperity and decent wages. Unions are a great antidote against the sectarian poison of extremism in Iraq. I believe that free trade unions in Iraq can play a historical role to help cement this identity, which is a key recovery factor of achieving full national sovereignty and a free and democratic Iraq. Thank you very much.